I love the words of King David when he had the opportunity to give a sacrificial devotional offering to the Lord, and he said this, "I will not give that which cost me nothing." In the next few weeks, we all are going to be faced with the opportunity to consider what that might mean for us in terms of our stage 3 giving. I'm going to be considering, and I hope you are, what it really means that beyond our ordinary giving, we would give to the Lord in a way which is a true act of devotion. I understand that across the congregation we all have different financial circumstances, and we're not talking at all about equal giving. We're talking about equal devotion to the Lord who loves us equally. I wonder what it'll be for you. What is your act of devotion? I wonder what it'll be for me. Let's pray and think about that together, and together bring our devoted response to him, so that like King David, we are able to build together something that will bring glory to our God.
God's given us a vision for the building as a complete project. We're partway through that at the moment, and I think we've all seen that there are some parts of having a half-complete building that's not ideal, so it would be fantastic to complete the vision that God's given us.
It's really important if we go forward with this stage that we're all on board together, and that if we want to do this, we all have to pitch in and we all have to be equally devoted, because it's not a small thing we're doing, it's a big thing, and it's something that's going to be here for generations to come.
We've all got a response to make, and I think it's because, God's given us that responsibility. We're all part of a family, and I think when you're part of a family, you all need to contribute the way God's asked you to contribute.
We're really excited to be a part of this adventure of faith. You went up. Laughter is not good.
I think it's very important that everyone is responding to God's call for us to start this project, even though we recognise that that doesn't mean that everyone is giving equally in a financial sense, but that everyone is equally devoted to the project.
This church is my home. Sometimes home, isn't just where you grow up, and it's not just where you live. This church is my home, and this church is my family. So I come here and I feel at home. I feel like I'm safe and I'm loved, and I have mentors and there's people I can mentor, and I really do mean that this church is my home. And I want to take that seriously, and I don't want to just leave my home, and I want to see my home. I want to look after my home.
One of the great things about being a young adult is you usually have a lot of passion about what you're doing, and I think we could be really passionate about this building program. As this building program was built on faith of members here, that the young adults would respond to that, and also respond in faith in the way we are devoted.
God will speak into the congregation collectively. So the first thing I'd say is listen to him, and then once we think we've heard, trust him. I mean, once we have a sense of what God might be saying, he'll shut the door if we're wrong. He won't let us go there. He loves us too much to see us fail.
We're really excited to be a part of this adventure of faith.
There's been generations who have trusted God, and that's why this church is still here. If we're still faithful, there will be generations in the future who will be thankful that the generations that we held on were faithful and trusted God.
He loves his church. He wants us to succeed. And it just happens that he owns the resources as well.
It might be scary for some people hearing all the big dollars and the numbers that are going up for the new development of the church, but I definitely think that we can always trust God on this, that we can always fall back on him. He's never going to give us anything that we can't handle. So I definitely think that we'll be able to push through this, and that in the end we're going to have a great church which will just be able to facilitate more people and just have a great impact for God's kingdom.
Okay, it's just talking into a camera. Okay.
To give, God tells us, if you bring your tithe into the storehouse, he will give to you, overflowing, pressed down, and more than yes. It's not just what we want God to give. Giving is make us feel good too. I think it makes us feel great.
I think it's exciting because I don't think God has to do small things. He can do big things, so why not do a big thing with him?
For me, having seen the way God's provided for us so far, not only in this project but through stage 1 and stage 2, that's what gives me the faith to believe that God's going to continue to provide for us.
In your head, are you counting? Okay. We're really excited to be a part of this adventure of faith.
So much of what I've said talks about the good times, but the Christian journey is one that does have a price attached. Jesus himself gave of himself so that we might have life. Except a seed fall in the ground and die, the plant will not grow. There is a cost for we who give, which is actually modelling the life of Jesus. So we need to count the cost, but what I want to say is the reward causes the cost to fall into insignificance.
Well, that is what the church exists for, is to reach out to the community so that the lost can, find their way to God. And this is what we're here for. And I would, very much like to be part of that.
Our faith goal to complete stage 3 is $1.8 million, which is a lot of money in anybody's language. We know, however, that our God is able to do more than we could ever ask or think or imagine. And we also know that we've found that God has been faithful every time we've stepped forward with him in the past. As well as that, we know that it's not for any single one of us to have to provide that 1.8 million, but that God is calling us together for each of us to make our devoted contribution and then to see what he's able to do. We've actually calculated that if it were to happen, that on the average people gave $15 per adult per week, then the total amount could be found over 5 years. What we do know is that our God is the God who can do the impossible. In the past, this congregation has experienced the joy of seeing God do things that man didn't think could happen. Let's join together now and be the Ross Trevor Baptist Church of 2014 who sees it happen again.
We're really excited to be a part of this adventure of faith.